What's up, Dice Crew? Now, recently, we've been kind of covering a couple videos pertaining to the Stink Team. If y'all don't know who the Stink Team is, that's people like Draco the Ruler, Ralphie the Plug, Chief and Heavily, so on and so on, right? And we got this video with Bricc, baby, pretty much speaking on Draco, dissing Inglewood, and, speaking on Draco doing certain things while not being actually from a gang. But that's just me briefly summing it up for the introduction. Let's tune in and see what all Bricc Baby got to say. I'm going to keep it a Benji for y'all doing the reaction. Y'all keep it a Benji for me in the comments. Shout out to the Dice Crew. Let's rock.
So, Draco's really starting to level up, starting to make real money, doing shows. He drops the song Inglewood. When you heard that song, what did you think?
I be forgetting that Draco ain't no gang member. So when I heard it the first time, I'm like, oh shit, he up the scope. You know what I mean? Like, we make drill diss songs like between hoods all the time. He just popular, so this one got more. But then I'm like, oh, bro ain't from no hood. He just went against the whole city.
Yeah, I mean, Englewood is Englewood, man. I spent a lot of time in Englewood.
Yeah.
I would not diss a whole city, especially Englewood.
Yeah, I ain't dissing the whole city. I mean, we don't get along with the whole city of Englewood. It's just like two crip hoods that we get along. So, I mean, to me, I already be dissing the whole city, but like, with...
Now, two things, right? Bricc Baby just pointed out that for the most part, where he come from, they don't really get along with 98% of Englewood. So to him, he pretty much just be saying F the whole city, which I get that. I get it a little bit. I'm familiar with it. Like, it ain't the first time I have heard somebody that's like, from the same background as Bricc Baby pretty much carry that same type of politic. Now, it's probably going to be certain people who find something wrong with that. Who knows? We got to continue. But also, they was pointing out that that's an extreme situation when you take it upon yourself to disrespect a whole city. Even though you might have a lot of backing, but it's still even worse when you really technically don't have a lot of backing. It's like to stand alone with just a chosen few, maybe even just a chosen handful or two, and you take it upon yourself to diss a whole city, man, you better make sure you got some of the best individuals with you. And that's kind of crazy because that's one of the topics that we've been kind of speaking on when I've been doing these last couple of videos pertaining to the Stink Team. It's like, I don't know why it's the Stink Team and they choose to be the ones who disrespect cities as a whole. They was dissing Englewood. More recently, they done said it's F San Pedro as a whole. And I just don't even know where they got that from. I would really like to see somebody give them an interview or something like that, or they, put it out there they cell phone. What makes them feel so confident, or what makes them feel like, drive them to take down, what drives them down the path to make the choice to say F a whole city. Like, I really am curious about it. I'm not saying that, it's people that's out here saying a lot worse things, F your mama, F your kids, F your dead homies, F your dead family members. It's a lot of things that people be saying foul, but again, like I always state, I think it still be kind of catching people off guard that, Draco and the Stink Team ain't really actually from a gang. Just like what Bricc Baby just said, he be forgetting that Bricc Baby is, that Draco is not from a gang.
No backing and all that, like no background of why you saying this. All right, they had they little, they shootouts and all that, but at the end of the day, you was a non-affiliate, and you could have kept that. Like, hey, shit happened, but, you know what I mean? Like, it ain't fuck Englewood, it's just, you know what I mean? That nigga thought he was trying something to a non-affiliate and end up getting his issue, so, you know what I mean?
Well, yeah, because then a concert happened.
Yeah.
And he was there backstage and he got rushed and he got stabbed to death. And to this day, it's a cold case.
Yeah. Shout out to the streets for not telling. That's a one up for the streets. You know what I mean? And I ain't saying it like Draco mom know I love her. Just gave her the.
You know, I ain't gonna lie. Bricc Baby just pointed out something that was, that was real. Like, I understand what he's saying, and shout out to Draco and everybody that care about him. It's no disrespect in that form, but we all come from two different sides of the playing field. So obviously, if you on one side of the playing field, then you obviously, you want justice in a certain type of way. When you coming from the streets, then you looking at things like, hey, things need to take the right course of action that need to take place in the streets. So for a lot of people, minding a business or keeping their mouth closed or whatever the case may be, pertaining to that situation, and ain't nobody been, arrested and stuff like that for that, Bricc Baby is right. We definitely got to get the streets a point on that one.
Biggest last time I seen her, but yeah, I mean, he a part of the streets. I don't think he wanted his killer to be found either. You get what I'm saying? But it's just like Julio Fulio. I'm trying to figure out like the nicest way to say it. It's just like Julio Fulio now. You keep barking up the tree, what the fuck you expect? Like, if you keep on beating at this same door, one day somebody gonna open it, and if you knock it too loud, they gonna open it with aggression.
Yeah, I didn't like that he did that song.
The Englewood song is like, come on, cuz, like, all right, cool. And it's just like Young and Ace and all them, like, y'all gonna keep, in the end, even the Chicago wave, like, y'all gonna keep dissing the dead. I just feel like for every action, it's a reaction anyway. And what you put into the universe, that's what you get out the universe. So it's just like, if you gonna keep on dissing the dead and be obsessed with the dead, why don't you go up there and go ahead and kick it with them? That's how I feel like Lady Karma coming.
Or, if you're gonna do it, don't live in the area of the people you're talking about.
You're right.
If Draco made Inglewood while he was living in Atlanta,
yeah,
I don't think anything would have happened.
Yeah, he definitely was living over there.
I mean, Vlad might be on to something, but I feel like at the same time, Get Back don't really got no time schedule on it. Things can happen in 6 minutes, 6 days, 6 months, 6 years, 5 months, 4 days, however you word it, you know what I mean? Like, Get Back can come back at any moment. So if Draco would have made that song and he was living in Atlanta, that don't necessarily mean that, he wasn't going to have to see some type of consequence or whatever later down the line. Whether Draco was going to be able to handle it or not handle it, I feel like, if he showed back up and put himself in a certain position and people felt like they could, have access at him, I feel like they would have probably tried that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because obviously, Draco became a trophy. So when you a trophy and you being disrespectful, which him being disrespectful and he being a viral individual with fame, notoriety, and money, and, him being a great musician and stuff like that, coming from where everybody come from, that makes him a trophy. And a lot of people, when you a trophy and you saying things and doing things, that adds on to why people want to really come get you. It ain't like you just you just a weird dude trolling on the internet or nothing. It's like, you a trophy being disrespectful. Those is two different things. And, even trolls can get it, but I'm just pointing out the difference. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I said, Get Back don't got no time and, time frame, and be mindful on what you say or what you do, because you never know when you might have to face the music for that.
If Fulio, had moved, me and Fulio talked before he died, because I'd interviewed him. We're supposed to do.
And I don't think that's honorable. I know it might sound stupid, but it was more honorable on what Draco actually did. By keeping himself in the game while he was being disrespectful. Like, if he would have been out of town doing all that dissing, I don't think that would have gave him the buzz that he was getting out of it. Not saying it was smart or stupid, but I feel like he was definitely getting some type of more clout and notoriety, and people was rocking with him for his way of like drill music, dissing people and stuff like that, and dissing cities. And if he would have been out of Los Angeles, that would have just took a lot off of his campaign, to me. I don't think people would have been like believing the hype so much. It wouldn't have been sounding or seeming so tough. A lot of people don't know what's actually going on behind the scenes, or all encounters that everybody be having. But if you locally and you popping it, people can look at it like, man, he really telling the truth. He just did a show here. He did a pop-up here. He going live over here for 2 hours. He got a show. It's a lot of things to where people be like, man, dude and them seem tough. But if you would have been just dissing Inglewood and you would have been hiding out in another state, I don't think it would have carried that much weight. And I don't, if you're going to be dissing people, just be on what you need to be on at the end of the day. I don't promote no dissing the dead. And if you're going to be dissing the dead, you really need to be prepared for whatever might come behind that, because that's very distasteful. And you really rubbing things in people's face.
Other one, and then something happened where you couldn't make it, but you called me up really apologetic and said, yo, my bad, bro. I'm not like this. Yeah. I respect what you do. And I was like, I was telling him, I'm like, yo, like, Fulio, I was like, you're bigger than all these guys that you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? I'm not talking about Young and Ace. I'm talking about all the other little dudes.
Yeah, all the people that he keep dissing in the
all these guys, because ultimately one of the guys who's charged with his murder, his brother got killed by one of Fulio's guys.
Yeah, kid.
And Fulio made a song about it.
Yeah.
And then one of those guys made a video pissing on the grave, and it's ugly.
Sure. Was it Bibby? Bibby's brother or
sure.
Something like, or no, it was somebody else.
I'm not sure. I don't want to put out the...
And I think that somewhere down the line, man, in rap music or just the younger generations, I just feel like they start thinking that disrespect was the key to get in the door, the key to success, which sometimes it's not necessarily their fault when that's what the industry or the powers that be, pretty much support. If you promoting that type of energy, you might be a successful guy at the end of the year. Outside of that, it might take you a long time to make it, if you even make it. So I get it, I'm not saying that it's right or wrong. Me, myself, I wouldn't do it. I don't see no reason to be dissing the dead. I feel like, I'm not a fan of kicking nobody while they down, and I don't be just, just overdoing things. And I'm really like, a person that's dead, like, what are they finna do to you? Like, you have no reason to be focusing on somebody who's not finna come physically harm you, and taking your focus off of somebody who's living, who's possibly finna put you somewhere, who can possibly put you somewhere, take your life. I don't think you should lose your focus and be worrying about that. These dudes be running around here dissing the dead, doing everything, messing with cemeteries and all that stuff, thinking that's just tough. You know what I'm saying? You having the toughest disrespectful battle with some people that can't defend themselves physically. And then you look up and you turn around and you see a lot of these dudes don't even be surviving a lot of that stuff right after the fact. Now, obviously, some people dying all the time. Now, people just want to attach things to things if you do certain things. Like it's 100 people dying tomorrow, 100 people die. But if you a person who's saying something or being disrespectful or whatever, then guess what? People are going to turn it into like, oh, this happened because of this. Or, this was karma. Or, people go down all these these different paths and stuff like that. And in some cases, yeah, what they did might be a reason why things caught back up with them. But also, when you in these streets, things gonna happen anyway. You know, if you're gonna be out in the streets long enough and you really in them, something gotta happen. Like, it's just impossible for something not to happen. Just being honest. You know, even if you survive things or you reverse those charges, something gotta happen. You know what I mean? You gotta have a fight. You gotta, probably possibly somebody try to pack you out. Somebody probably try to do something to you with a weapon. You might get shot at. You might get shot. You gotta run from the police or actually go to jail. You know, it's a lot of things that's gonna actually have to happen. You know, get robbed, place, you trapped, robbed or something, whatever the case may be. Or you might win the battles, but something gonna happen. If you out in the streets and you in them just continuously, just for real, and you in the streets, things is gonna, and we talking about the gangland where people is gang banging at, man, something gonna happen. So I think it's more wise for you to be worrying about your, threats against you as opposed to worrying about some things that's not a threat.
I don't want to put out the wrong name, but
Yeah, me
like,
neither.
and then you go have a party a few hours from where all of them live.
And you got the murderer with you.
You got the murder with you, then the girl who told everyone else she's at the party.
Exactly.
It's sad, man.